Good morning, everyone. This is Anish, and I'm here on behalf of the National Law Training Institute. Today, we have among us three toppers, including AIR 3, Arshiya Gupta in AILET. We have Ashmit, who scored an All India rank of 38 in CLAT, and Gurnoor, who got an All India rank of 81 in AILET. A fun fact about the five of us is that we all belong to Chandigarh, and these three belong to the same school as well. So they have a very close knit connection with each other, including Aditya Bhargav. Aditya Bhargav mentored all these people in the month of October, and they like primarily dedicate their CLAT ranks to Aditya Bhargav. If that's not true, Aditya, you can like change it. Yeah. So Arshia, we'll start with you. If it would be great if you could introduce yourself and like tell us a bit about why you chose to do law, what motivated you to pursue this profession. Yeah.
Okay, so hi everyone. I'm Arshiya Gupta. I was Air 3 in AILET and I was Air 172 in CLAT. And as for why I chose law, I think this is a very complicated question. I've not been able to come to a proper answer for that. But so I come from a doctor family, and up till class 9, I was sure I'll become a doctor. And, I wanted to take medical and everything. But then class 10th happened, there was this lockdown, and I just went to the hospital one day and I was like, ye to nahi karna hai. And then I just started exploring different fields, and I just viewed like law as one. At that time, though, law was a career of convenience because it had a lot of perks to it. But as I started preparing for it, as I started learning more about it, as I started studying it, I think I just grew to love the process, and I think I feel pretty positive about it now. That will be pretty much it.
Right. So basically, you chose to do law because you wanted to not do medical or doctor. You
I mean, that
did
was
not.
part of the reason, but also because I thought, and my parents also thought that my aptitude was better suited to it. I was involved in a lot of writing and reading things, and it just suited me. The subjects that interested me were all related to humanities. And as I said before, law at that time was a career of convenience. But as I progressed further into my prep and everything, I just grew to like it as a subject and as a potential career option as well.
Right. Gurnoor, if you wanna say something about this.
Well, so basically, my condition was somewhat similar to that of Ashya. I was also extremely perplexed as if I should take medical or humanities, right? So at one point of time, I just, went over the H.C. Verma book, right? So that was the moment for me. I decided कि okay, nahi, humanities ही करना है. And then even in humanities, basically, I personally wanted to go for history because I just love history, political science, all the subjects. However, I realized that a more viable and a more holistic career option would be law, right? So that was basically my reason that I took up law. And also, the school which all of us come from, BBC, right? Our peer group, our entire peer group was preparing for CLAT and AILET. So that provided a very conducive environment to prepare for, all the law entrances, and that wasn't peer pressure. However, you just got motivated and you just got drawn into the process of preparing for law. So that was the reason I took law.
Yeah. Ashmit, go next.
Right. So my reason of like choosing law is kind of a little different. I was sure that I'm going to take humanities, but my long-term goal was to like pursue journalism. But as of now, my parents are not very supportive of that. So they were like, you should do law before that, and then you could do a PG in journalism. So yeah, when I did my set of research, I came to this conclusion that NLUs do provide a very good environment, and you can learn many skills that can be very helpful for you in longer term if you go towards journalism. So yeah, that was my set of thing when it came to choosing law.
Right. So, if you wanna like tell us about your CLAT preparation journey, when did you decide to do law? Did you dedicate 2 years of your 11th and 12th, or was it primarily the 12th class in which you prepared for CLAT and AILET? Gurnoor, if you wanna go.
Right. So basically, I did join a coaching back in May 2021, right? That was the time when I decided कि okay, law ही करना है, and I also changed my school. But then, I just didn't prepare for CLAT उतना ज़्यादा. I mean, I did read about torts and contracts, all of that stuff, but I just didn't practice a lot. And I eventually realized this somewhat in, June or July 2022, that, CLAT is not at all about reading a lot of legal concepts or things like that. Instead, the primary focus should be on practicing more and more things and analyzing them, right? So I guess that would be the time. And also, all three of us, went to this boot camp thing in Lucknow, and that was also a catalyst, which just really pushed us to give in more effort, seeing the people around us, how much effort they're putting it into this thing. So that also really pushed us.
Right. Arshia?
Yeah, all right. So I came to BVC with the mindset कि law ही करना है. So mine was more of a two-year thing. I was always focused on law. I knew कि AILET and CLAT was my end goal. So yeah, I just started, but my prep was not about reading comprehensions or mocks from the onset. Like I joined my coaching in this year only, that too in June, July or something. So I was more of doing it myself, and I was focusing a lot on GK, and I was able to build my base in a lot of different subjects like economics, political science, and all. It was part of my two-year plan or something or whatever I called it back then. So yeah, after that, I actually that was a very useful time because I took that time to actually build my base in GK, and that helped me a lot later as well. Like some of the questions that came in CLAT as well, that Theranos wala, Elizabeth Holmes wala question and all. So I used to watch a lot of financial documentaries, and so I knew those questions. So I don't think that time was a waste. That was actually one of the most useful things I've ever done. And after that, I joined my coaching, and that is when our study group was formed. We went to Lucknow, and that is when, as Gurnoor also mentioned it, that is when I actually got that push that I needed for my CAT prep. And after that, it was all mocks, mocks, and mocks, and just a very consistent sort of an approach towards that. Just a lot of practice and just a lot of analyzing what your mistakes were.
Right. Ashmit?
Yeah, so I also kind of did join a coaching last year, like around May 2021. But to be very honest, my prep wasn't going that well initially. It was around April 2022 that I did realize, okay, people are preparing for it, they're answering questions during classes, and I'm not able to do that. And even they're scoring well in mocks. So that was a kind of like a major eye opener for me that yes, I need to get serious about this thing. I need to start preparing. And that was when I started like practicing things and I came to know about more uh, types of details about that, what you should do, what you should not do. And also by analyzing mocks, it was a great help. I did not do that initially, but as I started to do them, I was able to like gauge on my mistakes and improve them really.
Great. Aditya, want to take up the next question?
Yeah, so I'll give you some context on right. So I think I met Ashmit for the first time before even my CLAT result was out. Right. So I think the best part about all these people were that all right, the best part was that okay, they probably were not getting the best of scores in their mocks, but they were very self-aware. Right. The problem with like a lot of aspirants is that they're not very self-aware. They're like, even if you're getting a score in 50, we will ultimately touch 110 eventually. But there is this point in like your preparation when you have to understand that with a 50 right now, I really have to put in a lot of effort. Right. So I think with Ashmit specifically and then Arshiya and Gurnoor as well, as soon as they realize that, they basically switch their gear to like third, fourth, and fifth gear over a period of time. So I think so you talked about that conducive environment in your school and how that basically ecosystem helps you to basically go ahead and do very well in these papers. I just wanted to ask that the problem is a lot of times people come and tell us that this can be very toxic as well, right? Because you're seeing so much competition, just like in this very small ecosystem. How do you respond to that? how do you make sure that you don't basically hold grudges against each other just because somebody is getting 100 and you at that point of time is getting a 70? How do you keep yourself motivated during that phase? Gurnoor, if you want to answer, anybody.
Right. So basically, I think it's a very fundamental human emotion, right? That if someone is scoring more than you, someone is doing better than you will definitely, want to be at that place. But I think these things can only be understood with, certain sort of self-awareness. That, and also certainly in case of our peer group, it wasn't at all toxic, I would say, because even if someone was scoring in like 110, I was, and others also, we were really happy about that person, right? And another thing was that competition, now this is a very cliche thing, that competition allows you to better yourself as well, but this is something which I really think is correct, right? Because I also remember that there were times when someone would score in their 90s and I was getting in 60s, and then I would call Arshiya, I would fret about it. But then my friends also made me, realize that, okay, this is not something that is your actual CLAT score. Your actual CLAT score is not at all, you know, correlative to your mocks ki score, your mocks ki rank. And that was also a time when Aditya Bhaiya came in and he made us realize that, okay, CLAT prep is good, but this is not something which would, eventually um, be fruitful if you just keep fretting about things. तो उन्होंने एक ही बात बोली कि खुश रहो, खुश रह के तैयारी करो, and it would be good. And I guess that was another changing, you know, time for me, and especially Asha, because I think both of us were there in that session together. कि okay, if we have to go over the marks, we have to analyze them, तो सब कुछ करो but खुश होके. And if you do that, that will be the best thing for you, I would say.
Yeah, I think if you have to characterize my interaction with all of them, is that this one advice ki tum sab kar rahe ho, you have already made your base, you know every concept, but the point is that if you're not calm, even if you're not happy, this paper can't be cracked because you will break under pressure. I think Arshiya getting a AIR 3 in a paper like this, which was complete bouncer for probably 90% of the people writing it, was probably because she did not break under pressure. So I think even for 24 aspirants, this is important that do whatever you want. You may be the best, you may be the most prodigical person you can find. You might have the best grades, but you have to apply that. And to be able to apply that, you have to stay calm and happy. So I think, yeah, Arshad, you want to add something there?
Yeah, all right. So, like you said, this group was not at all toxic. I think it was more of it provided a very competitive environment because we had people scoring in like 90s and hundreds and everything. But at the same time, it motivated you to perform well because my ideology had been कि अगर उनके आ रहे हैं तो उनके hard work की वजह से आ रहे हैं, and if you want to reach there, you'll also have to put in that hard work. So, ठीक है, like Gurnoor said, it's a very fundamental emotion to feel bad for yourself and to feel jealous. But you have to convert that jealousy into envy. Like if they're able to do it, you will also. So I think it's just that that idea that you have at the back of my mind, at the back of your mind, ki, you've just got to push yourself to achieve that score. I think that's what kind of pushes you forward, and ultimately you will be able to achieve that score if you carry forward with a very positive attitude.
Right. I think if we have to like change the tangent a bit before that, Ashma, do you want to add something there?
Yeah, I'd just like to add like a few things. I was about to say that, yeah, they both said absolutely correct that art was not at all toxic. There have been times where even I've got like scores like 42 and 50s, and these people have scored like really good. So I did ask them that, yeah, you've been able to score that, and it helps you when your friends who are doing good, they're able to tell you why this question went wrong for you. What could you have done at this point of time? What was their mindset? So I think so it works more towards a positive thing rather than converting it into a negative thing. So that is all about your mindset, how you want to approach it. If you want to take it to your heart and just cry about it, or you want to like achieve something positive out of it. So yeah, that's all.
Right. Also, the fact that I used to like at the time I was like basically going and talking to them in October. One very good thing was that they had like this friend. They had this friend who was really good in GK, right? And instead of like getting intimidated, instead of getting like very reckless about it, they would just sit there in that classroom and like listen to her, right? I mean, they would very like they would easily make notes. They won't get intimidated. They would be like, okay, this is part of my learning curve. Because I remember the first day I talked to Gurnoor, he was like, भैया मेरे को ना जीके बिल्कुल ही नहीं आती है, मतलब जीके बिल्कुल ही नहीं आती है. But the susceptibility in him कि okay, I will still go and sit in this class where this girl probably knows everything under the sun, was probably a characteristic which is different from probably others. Because there were other people also who would just not want to enter that classroom thinking कि ये कुछ बहुत ही ज़्यादा out of the box कर रहे हैं. Right? So I think that is another characteristic for all of them. Uh, okay, mocks. I saw you guys probably writing a mock every day, probably from August, September, October. Uh, what was the frequency? What was the strategy, and why mocks and not say the books or the worksheets or anything else? I would like Ashmit to start on this because he also wrote a lot of mocks. And how do you find good quality mocks? And what kind of mocks do you trust? So that's one question, like whole.
Right. So I would say, see, mocks are very important in your CLAT prep because at the end of the day, it's not what you have studied, what legal principles you have read, and all the newspapers you have read. It's that how are you able to apply those principles? And for that, you need to practice. And I would say mocks are the best things to do that. Like at one point, even sectionals you can do, but at after all, you will have to do mocks collectively because at the D day, it is not going to be like half an hour you will give to English and then there's a break. No, right? You need to spend a complete 2 hour time doing all the sections together. So primarily my mock frequency was I started giving mocks daily from around mid September, and I used to analyze them. Like I would give it between the time period of 2 to 4 and analyze it probably 6 to 8 or something. And another important point is like just giving mocks again and again recklessly. That is of like no substantial importance unless you analyze them, because only then you will realize what mistakes you have been doing. Also about the quality of mocks, I'd say there are plenty of good coachings out there that provide a lot of material to you. You can access them, and above all, even NLTI mocks were a huge help. Like they helped me gain a new perspective to my preparation, to be very honest, because there were parts that I was like completely oblivious about, and they helped me like yeah, this can even come, like this question can come in this manner, like these questions can also come. So that was a great help to me, to be honest.
Right. Gurnoor, because I think Gurnoor initially did not write as many mocks as probably Ashmit, but towards the end, I guess he started writing a lot of mocks. So I think that question could be diverted to Gurnoor, but the idea is that for say 24 aspirants, right, who would probably start their preparation in Jan, right? When should they write? Like when should they start writing those mocks? And what should be the frequency? Should it be like a build up, like a bottom down approach, or a that? So talk about
Yeah,
that.
just to add to Aditya, so a lot of people, when they are starting their CLAT prep, want to complete some syllabus before writing mocks. But I do not really know what that syllabus is because essentially there's no syllabus for CLAT. So what do you guys suggest? Okay, should they start giving mocks from January itself when they are starting out their CLAT prep, or should they take like 3 4 months break first, understand what CLAT is, go through the pattern once, अच्छे से, and then start giving mocks? So what do you guys suggest? Gurnoor, if you
So
wanna go.
basically, I'm the exact kind of person that Anish described right now because I was also just like that. You know, I can totally relate. Ki, in during class 11th, I was like, "Ki, okay, abhi to I have to complete all the legal concepts and just to go through the CR theory, read RC or I mean CR Bible, do GMAT and this and that, right?" But I didn't write any mock in class 11th. In fact, I think the very first mock which I actually wrote, right? Um, I mean, just sitting for 2 hours directly was in August, in late August. And
This year.
Yes, exactly. So I used to write mocks before as well, but then I have this very bad habit that I do not have a very sustained attention. So I just used to get up between that mock, right? I just used to do CR and legal and GK, and then I just used to get up. Ki chalo ho gaya, that's it. But eventually I realized especially when we went to Lucknow, ki mocks are the key. You just cannot do anything without mocks. And I thought I also considered this, that just like Ashmit said, that instead of recklessly writing mocks, writing a fewer number of mocks but analyzing them really well. I mean, I just used to put those 2.5 to 3 hours to just analyze that mock, but I just wrote around 2 or 3 mocks in a week, that too around the last stage of my preparation. And I would say that it was a good exercise for me, because I know Arshiya, for a matter of fact, wrote even used to write 3 mocks in a day. But I just think that that is not humanly possible for a person like me, right? So I think you have to figure it out for yourself, what suits best for you. And also, as for the 2024 aspirants, maybe I think that it would be better to start writing mocks. Like, just don't act like me, right? There's no syllabus for CLAT, and even if there is, I mean, but that won't get completed even till the last day, right? So just start writing mocks, start analyzing them, maybe weekly, maybe monthly, right? When you get towards the last leg of your preparation, you will yourself realize that, okay, this is the frequency which I need to set for myself. This is what suits the best for me. So I think you have to figure it out for yourself. And also, for the type of mocks, I basically wrote CLAT possible mocks and NLTI mocks, and I guess they were really good. As for NLTI, I really like the critical reasoning and English sections, especially the RC section, right? It was really great. And for the CLAT possible mocks, I think they are very balanced in nature. um so that is also one thing. And also, I would say that it is good to write assorted kind of mocks, right? Just don't rely on one type of coaching, because CLAT
Yeah.
consortium does not follow any pattern which is followed by some coaching or not, right? So you have to figure it everything out on yourself, what suits the best for you.
Right. Arshia, do you want to add something to this?
Yeah, all right. So I think I did a bit of, I did a bit of both what Ashmit and Gurnoor just described. First of all, I was not
Hmm.
aware of flat pattern, so I was like, syllabus khatam kar leti hu, these concepts and
Yeah.
everything. One fine day in June, just after the 22 paper, I was like, let me just open the paper and have a look at it. And I was like, this is not something that I've been doing. And that was like an eye opener, like a wake up call for me. And that's when I completely changed my preparation. And
Hmm.
I think the first mock that I wrote, like the first proper mock that I wrote, was sometime in July. And like a proper analyzed mock was after I went to Lucknow, and that was in September. So since then, I've never looked back. I've like written a lot of mocks, and I think October or November I used to write a mock every single day and then analyze it the same day, and that really pushed my preparation. Also, mocks helped me a lot with my speed because I remember one fine day in November, like towards the end of November, I had a CP mock that went horrendously bad, and that is when I realized that my speed is not up to par, and I really need to work on it. And that is when I started writing one AILET mock and one CLAT mock each day. And I think that is why I was able to actually complete my AILET paper as well. Like I would really credit all of my speed to that one week, especially because if not for that, I don't think I would have been able to attempt the number of questions that I did. So yeah, mocks are very important, and you just need to consistently write them, if not analyze them. But they just help you remain in that momentum. Analyzing also becomes very important, but I think for me personally, it was the momentum that they provided.
Right. So if this is not too much to ask for, I'm really curious what happened in Lucknow. So the three of you credit your success to the Lucknow boot camp. So what actually happened there? Like, was there some mantra given to you that chant this mantra and you'll be able to crack that? So what happened? What really happened there? If any, like anyone can unmute and speak. Ashmit, go ahead then.
I
apart
would
apart from the interesting things you did in the hotels and Ashmit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think probably Lucknow was a game changer because, see, till August, what happened that we were giving mocks probably once a week, and we were not that gripped with CLAT preparation. But when it came to the boot camp that was organized in Lucknow, we went there. We saw competition that had come from all around the country. There were people from Delhi and even Allahabad and other centers of this coaching. And by looking at them, we got to realize that people are very, very serious about this paper. And we also need to get that. Also, there was also a great change in the daily routine. I would say that we used to go to the center around 8 and used to come back pretty late around 4 or something. So there were regular classes, mocks, and analyzing sessions. And for me personally, I was not that engrossed in the analyzing my mocks initially. I used to just give them, calculate the score, and that's it. But when I went to Lucknow, then the analyze sessions took place with the teachers. So naturally, I had to attend them. So after analyzing mocks with them, I got to realize that this is a big mistake that I have been doing, बहुत देर से, and I need to work on it. I need to start analyzing mocks, and that really helped me to like push my score to like from 40s to 70s or something. Yeah, that was it. If others would like to add something.
I mean, I would like to add that uh, another thing which happened was that we used to have these group analysis sessions, right? And just knowing that, okay, this option can be incorrect because of a certain reason as well, right? Just knowing for a fact of matter that an option can be correct because of multiple reasons. So just hearing everyone's perspective really broadens your own outlook towards the exam, right? So that was also something which really helped. And also, just going to a place for 18 days and studying, just dedicating yourself to one particular exams does help a lot, because usse pehle we were going to school not irregularly, but yes, we were going to school intermittently, doing other stuff, participating in competitions. So we were not entirely dedicated towards that. So that is something with the boot camp really help us on.
Right. Arshia, do you have anything to add? Cool, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that for me, I think Lucknow was a lot more about insight than anything else, because I had a routine, but what's a routine without any direction? So as Gurnoor mentioned, why is this option correct and why is that option incorrect? Those group analysis sessions just opened doors to more perspectives, and I think along the way, you just gained a lot of things out of that session. It was not just about analyzing that particular paper, but actually getting down to the root of the logic. So again, that insight and the perspective that I gained from that boot camp, I don't think that could have been, I could have gotten it from anywhere else. So yeah, definitely.
I mean, Anish, there is definitely something about that boot camp because I also attended it, but that was just a 4 day thing, and these guys went for 18 days. Uh, but yeah, I think what they basically, I think what the insights they got there, the best part was they did not like stop it like there. Okay, we are back to Chandigarh. Let's not apply it anymore, right? They understood the art and they started applying it to like their own set of groups, and they started doing the group discussions together. So I think that really changed it for them. I had a very interesting question for Gurnoor because I remember him calling me 15 days before CLAT with the same problem as he mentioned that भैया मैं मॉक लिख रहा हूँ बट मैं रैंडमली उठ जाता हूँ मतलब आई जस्ट एंड अप लाइक कि मेरे से नहीं हो रहा मैं उठ जाता हूँ एंड द सेकंड इशू विच वाज बेसिकली कैरेक्टराइज टू गुरनूर हिमसेल्फ वाज कि मैं 2 से 4 के बीच मेरे को सोना होता है बट पेपर तो 2 से 4 के बीच ही होता है राइट हाउ डू यू उसके लिए क्या सोल्यूशन है क्योंकि ऐसा बहुत लोगों के साथ होता है जो स्कूल जिनको आदत होती है कि स्कूल से वापस घर आओ सो जाओ एंड फिर उसके बाद शाम को देखेंगे बट बिकॉज द पेपर इज फ्रॉम 2 to 4 how do you change that approach and how did you do it?
I mean, this was the biggest impediment which I faced, especially in my CLAT prep. And thanks a lot to Aditya Bhaiya and Nidhi ma'am. Like, a big thanks goes to Nidhi ma'am for this, that they really helped me tackle this thing. तो पहले तो आई जस्ट टर्न टू थोड़ा सा अनहेल्दी साइड ऑफ इट कि ओके मॉक लिखना है फ्रॉम 2 to 4, जस्ट हैव अ रेड बुल एंड राइट द मॉक. बट आई थिंक कि दैट इज नॉट द राइट approach to do this, right? Just have to make some lifestyle changes. Thoda jaldi ut jao, jaldi so jao, have light food, right? Just relax yourself. And also, another thing I would suggest is ki do not just uh, jump onto writing a mock. Okay, it's two, I have to write a mock. No, start the process at around 1:30. Go sit on that chair, right? Just relax yourself, because before just before your actual CLAT exam, you will have 1 hour to just
To
sit
kill.
by yourself. So that is also very important, and it does help to calm you down. Just do not think anything during that half an hour period, or that 1 hour period, so that also helped me in that case. And also, as for getting up, I would say ki this really happened to me twice. Firstly, when I just started writing mocks, but then eventually after going to Lucknow, or after the sessions which we had with Aditya Bhaiya in October, I think that it considerably improved. And secondly, it happened in November when I started writing mocks daily, or even writing one AILET mock, one CLAT mock daily. So I think both you just have to find a middle ground somewhere, right? Just find that sweet spot. Ki, okay, this is the amount of marks which I can write in a day, and this is the number of time I can, just allocate to analyzing the mark, and just figuring it out for yourself will really help. And just follow your instinct. The biggest lesson I've learned from entire CLAT prep is, even if it is in the case of marking an option, or your entire strategy, or just anything, just follow your instinct. Your gut is never wrong. Just go by your instinct, and it'll be great.
Yeah, I think because that's something important, because a lot of people face that problem. And I think with Gurnoor also, I knew he was writing mocks regularly, but just like before the paper, I told him take a 2 day break, take a 1 day, 2 day break, so that this exhaustion that you have been going through, that basically you basically rejuvenate, and then ultimately start the process after 2 days. So I think that is also important, that the people are so ambitious, they even want to write 3 mocks a day, but they don't understand that your brain also needs some rest. So I think that's also important for 24 aspirants. Anish, do you have any questions?
Yep, I have a very interesting question, and some of the people are also very keen on getting the answer to. So, Gunur, what next for you? You are getting NLUD as well as NLS. So, specifically, people have asked this question in the chat box. So, where are you going, and or where do you want to go till now?
Or just say I'm not
I
sure yet.
I'll
Yeah,
just
if you want to be
go
on the safe
where
side,
destiny
they
takes me.
prefer not to answer. Oh, so did
People
you answer
couldn't
already?
hear. Good.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm saying that I'll just go where destiny takes me. Just
Oh.
I strongly believe in this thing, that there is a bigger plan, and you just cannot do anything to, just, I mean, uh, rasta ban jata hai. You just have to keep moving and keep trusting the process. So I think I'll go where I'm supposed to go.
Yeah, so my next question revolves around the importance of mental health, and this is reflected also in the AILET paper this time. The calm, so a lot of people said that a calmer mind was able to score more than an intelligent mind. So, Arshia, this question is for you. So, a very unexpected pattern change just in the paper: 5 English questions followed by 5 CR questions, no legal aptitude in a law paper. So, how did you manage that time? But you must have been thrown off by the paper pattern. So, did you take out like 5 6 minutes just to gauge through the pattern, or you started immediately with it without like thinking a lot what the pattern is asking you to do? So, what was your mindset during that paper?
All right. So, like you said, your mental health is very important when it comes to papers like CLAT or AILET. So, for
Yeah.
me, basically, I've had mental breakdowns, while giving mocks before. So, I knew ki this is something that I need to avoid. So, as soon as I opened my paper that day, I think first of all, having a look at your paper is very important, because then you'd know what to expect. Sometimes CLAT में legal के section अगर बड़ा आ गया, तो you need to spend less time on English, and it just helps you get that flexible approach towards the paper. So I kind of like went through the paper and I was like, "मुझे गलत paper मिला है," but then नहीं, it was the right one. And ultimately, I started off with the first passage, and I was like, okay, so Ashmit was there in my room, okay, where I was writing AILET, and I was like, this person will attempt 140 questions, and I need to get more than that. So I just maintained my calm, and I just I just started off with the paper. It took me some time to get acquainted with the type of questions that were being asked. So I spent relatively more time on the first passage. But after that, I had gotten acquainted with with the pattern of the questions, with the pattern of the paper. And after that, it was just trying to complete it.
Right. Aditya, if you have any other questions, I think I am done with asking.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we can ask a few more questions to them.
Yeah, ask some interesting questions. No, make it interesting, more interesting.
Okay, we'll ask a few like more interesting questions.
Yeah.
So I think they had this inner saying in this group that so they were so I think if I have to character so I'll give again some more context. Context is they had like 11, 12 people in their group. The like the macro study group they had like 12, 13 people. And if you had to characterize those people, then there were like three types of people. One who were calm and happy, second who were basically indifferent, and third who were very very scared. Okay, like very very scared. So there was this saying in this group which like Gurnoor randomly used to like खड़े खड़े he would like be like सब हो जाएगा सब हो जाएगा चिंता नहीं सब हो जाएगा right मतलब he would just randomly throw this at everybody कि कोई बात नहीं सब सही हो जाएगा. It was basically the all is well from Three Idiots which he converted into सब हो जाएगा. And then I remember Arshiya used to add this सब अच्छा हो जाएगा, right? सब अच्छा हो जाएगा. So talk about that. How did like that kind of a atmosphere really played out? Because some people did not even understand that till now. They're still like they're still skeptical. They're still feeling कि हमारा कुछ नहीं हुआ. But like अब क्या होगा? But how does that play out for you when you have that kind of sayings going on in the group?
Okay, so basically, ये सब हो जाएगा was a very big motivation booster. I remember we used to have a group on WhatsApp जिसका जिसका name was सब हो जाएगा. तो उसे देखकर only we used to get this thing कि ठीक है सब अच्छा हो जाएगा, because first of all we were 11 to 12 people. तो मतलब you had other people who were going through the same things. उनके भी mock scores were fluctuating, and these were people who understood you कि ठीक है. And इनको देख के लगता था कि चलो it's not only me who's going through ups and downs, it's them also, and we're in this together. And see, CLAT and AILET are very doable papers. If you open the question paper now, you would be like, this is very easy. It's just that us 2 hour में, when the pressure is on your head, तब वो feel होता है कि this is मुश्किल, but actually it's not. So maintaining your calm becomes very important. And when you remember this saying कि all is well, सब हो जाएगा, it just I think that is something that brought calm to me personally, and I think all of the others in the group as well. So it's just the process. You need to trust the process, and you need to remember कि अगर तुमसे नहीं हो रहा है तो किसी से भी नहीं हो रहा है. If there was one GK question जो तुम नहीं answer कर पा रहे हो, then that means कि it's difficult for everyone. It's not like तुम्हारी prep में कोई कमी है, right? If the question is so out of the world that you're not able to answer it, then that question is difficult for everyone. And I think that ideology and this sub ho jayega, mixture of that just kind of pushes you forward ki theek hai, you're not alone in this, other people are also going through the same thing. So
Right.
yeah.
I
Ashmit
mean,
Gurnoor, yes,
I
the
would
man
say
with the
that
sab ho
okay.
jayega.
So basically, I didn't come up with this thing, right? The credit goes to one of my seniors at BBC, Vrinda. Right now, she's in SRCC. So I mean, again, yeah, you just have to the entire underlying outlook towards this exam, or just anything in your life has to be positive. Ki, okay, the end result would be good if I've put this much of effort, so it will result in something fruitful, right? So you just have to trust the process. And I think the best part about us, especially the three of us, I would say, and also another one of our friends, was that we had this positive outlook कि everything will go right. Matlab, again, if you've put that much of effort कि ठीक है, you're coming in top 10, top 20 in your coaching, right? You're doing good in mocks consistently. So there's a time कि you realize कि okay, the worst could be कि oh, I don't end up going to Nalsar or Bangalore, but still I'll get an NLU. And you have to, just acknowledge the fact that that is a dream college for a hell lot of people, right?
Yeah,
So when you start acknowledging and appreciating the things around you, just count your blessings. I mean, the people you have in your life and things like that. If you're already enrolled in a coaching, right, you can afford that kind of thing. You're already in that kind of privileged bracket in a country. So when you start appreciating these things, so you feel ki, okay, everything will go right. You just need to trust the process.
Right.
Gurnoor तो took it literally also, सब हो गया उसका. Ashmit also, NLU Delhi में सब हो गया. I remember you put up a story also, no? I get the context now, सब हो गया. Yeah.
Ashmit, do you want to add something here? Because then I have like some questions related to GK preparation because people really want
Yeah,
to talk about that.
I just wanted to add that this saying that sab ho jayega has been like a literal बहुत ज़्यादा helpful, to be very honest. And I remember making memes and stickers out of Gurnoor with sab ho jayega, and whenever it's like कि I've scored less, I used to text these people कि यार it's not going well, and they would send me those stickers and memes कि sab ho jayega, chill out. And yeah, I know that we've had a huge group of like 11, 12 people, but to be honest, those were like very good human beings. They've supported us throughout, and it had through all the ups and downs that we have went through, we've been through this all together, and I appreciate a lot. Like, I'm grateful to all who have been there during my prep supporting me.
Right. I think again the positive outlook wali baat is like really something that helps you in your preparation. Okay, I think GK. So Anish, I'll actually talk about like smart guesses and intelligent guesses in the GK section. I remember I was discussing a mock with them in October, and all of them, apart from Arshiya, were like getting a score of 13, 14 in that GK section. And this girl goes ahead and gets a 27, 28, right? And then I asked her, could you please like explain me how did you like come up with the answers? She
Yeah.
sat with me. She sat with me there and randomly start saying ये नहीं हो सकता, ये नहीं हो सकता, A नहीं हो सकता, B नहीं हो सकता, because मेरे को ये पता है, so इसलिए C होगा. And she did not know the answer to at least 15 questions, and she's like telling me A B C नहीं होगा इसलिए D है. Right, so how does that work, and if like what goes behind coming up like ultimately ending up like that, because ultimately three of you did that very well, but because Gurnoor one of the places also talked about that he basically did GK as a like a comprehensive thing, not in isolation, right? So if you could talk about that process of doing GK. Arsha, I'll start with you.
Okay, so I think GK में one of the most important factors is educated guesses. It's not possible for you to know the answer of every single question that's being asked, but you can at least go ahead and eliminate at least two of those options ताकि you're left with just two. And unme se bhi you follow your gut and you follow, the rational thought, and then you pick up a question. And I'd say कि GK में I used to attempt all of the questions because I was like, मतलब, I had more to gain than loss. So that used to work out well for me. And I think it's more about educational guesses than anything else. There would be questions जिनके answer तुम्हें directly पता है, but there would be a lot of questions, you wouldn't even have thought of them. So I think this particular mock that you were talking about, is my question that was related to the Gati Shakti portal. And there were options like Udar Shakti or something, something. So, these are definitely options that wouldn't have been possible. So you had to choose the Gati Shakti one. So I think it all comes down to how attentive you are. Maybe you could go back to the passage, because I think CLAT ka example paper mein there was this question about Van Gogh and his painting, and usme sunflowers was the answer, and there was the reference about sunflowers in the passage itself. So
Yeah.
some contextual understanding develop karna, you need to have that, because CLAT is all about improvisation. It's not possible for you to know everything, so you need to improvise on the spot. And if it's a very difficult question, only then should you leave it. Like, that was my approach towards GK in particular.
Or basically till the time you're not able to eliminate say at least one option, then
Exactly.
don't attempt it, but attempt like if you're able to eliminate a few options. Because i
Exactly.
remember i remember sitting with like you guys and talking about that one particular question, which was the INS Shivalik question, right? And I think i have
Exactly.
talked about it I have talked about that question multiple times, and I think through that we could infer that okay, this is possible, that you can eliminate options. Gurnoor, GK used to fear him, but ultimately, how did it pan out?
I mean, I would say ki specifically CLAT ka GK used to fear me, because I've always loved doing GK, right? I've always loved being engrossed in all these subjects, right? I've participated in GK quizzes, वगैरह. So I used to love doing GK, but then the mocks. the mocks didn't give me that sort of GK. They used to give me Drishti ISK, questions ki okay, just tell me ki some absurd stuff ki ye
कि
committee mein kya
गांधी
form
जी को कि गांधी
ha
जी को किस
exactly.
स्टेशन पे निकाल दिया गया था.
I mean, just exactly that sort of stuff. But I would say ki just having a comprehensive understanding of the world. I mean, I remember Arshia reading Norman Love just before starting with her CLAT prep, right? That now, for people who don't know what Norman Love is, it is this fat book about international relations, and Arshia just completed it in a month or two, right? So I think I'm not suggesting anyone to do that, but of course, just being more aware, being more, cognizant as to what is going around in the world actually really helps.
Ashmit, yeah, I get what Gurnoor is saying. Ki, I think with your paper also, I think the best part was it was not like the Drishti IS GK. It was a
Yeah.
lot of trivia based GK, and say people who have done like a multiple quizzes, who have done good quality quizzes, would have probably aced the paper better than anybody else. Right? So how do you tackle that? Because I think one very good suggestion was that please read a lot of newspaper and editorial columns, and if you were doing that, then you could have cracked this GK section better than anybody else who's probably learned the all compendiums of Drishti IS. Right?
Yeah, so I
So
was talking to Piyush yesterday. He also said the same thing, that it's not about Twitter GK, it's not about Reddit GK, but it's about newspaper GK. The more curious you are about GK, the more aware you are about what's happening in your surroundings. The person who is that aware will be able to crack GK. So people were making fun that Twitter se uthaya hai, Reddit se liya hai. It's not about that, but it's more about curious minds, aware minds, and people who regularly need newspapers.
no,
Yeah.
even if it is Twitter, right? People who are
Yeah.
using Twitter properly are also the kind of people who are getting the good news and also getting like updated through some good channels. If they're not, but I think Ashmit, I'll
I
let
mean,
Ashmit answer.
I would also like to add something before we go on to Ashmit. Can I?
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Right. So, like the question which Arshia was talking about, right? About which was there in the sample paper about Van Gogh's painting and stuff. So one day I was just very much depressed after writing my mock because I didn't score that good. So I just went on to YouTube and was searching about random painters and things like that, and I just came across this video that two environmental activists just threw away a can of soup on Van Gogh's painting, and I was really surprised to see that the very next day, that question is there in the sample paper. So again, you have to be more observant. Just look around the world, be aware of things. That really helps. It's not just newspaper editorials, but just being cognizant and aware would really help you ace the GK section. Ashmit, please.
Yeah, I would totally agree with both of them. Also, I would like to say that even when sample papers are out and consortium took an analysis session on that, there also people did hint towards this part that you need to be curious about things. So the person who was taking the analysis session, he said that if you're reading an editorial and there are some complex terms or any out of the blue thing that you notice, you are supposed to kind of research about it. You should know what is happening and which context the editorial is talking about. So I think so that really helped like me in my GK prep, because initially I was just about learning facts on Drishti IS, GK today and all of that. But at the end, that did not help at all. It was all random stuff that I used to do at YouTube or anything I'm watching. And not only, I would like to say that it's not only GK, but also other things also. Might be like if you talk about AILET, there was a passage on uh, I guess Elizabeth, and I watched Crown, so I researched a whole lot about it. That how did the hierarchy pass on? So I was able to attempt it pretty well because of that. So I would say just being curious about things naturally, it helps a lot. Holistically approach towards the paper.
Yeah, because I was talking to Akshat here also. He said that, I mean, more than the GK section of the mocks, etc., there were like more questions from, say, the critical reasoning section of like your mocks, because then you
Yeah.
had put like those kind of passages which talked about, say, cryptocurrency, which talked about Draupadi Murmu's appointment and all that. FIFA in general, because Qatar did multiple things around like LGBTQ rights and all that, and that ultimately showed up in your GK section of the paper. So it's very holistic preparation of GK. how were you linking things? How did you prepare for it? Did you divide topics, or what was your strategy in that sense? Gurnoor.
I would say that connectivity is the key. So we had this passage about, Qatar and the entire LGBTQI scene and the German team, all of that in one of the RC passages in a mock. And I think, again, just being more aware about things really helps. Just connecting different stuff and not studying something in isolation. Okay, this organization ka headquarters is located here and it was founded in this year and ye iska chief hai. It is good, do that, but then again just find out ki okay is organization ne aur kya kiya hai, like what is something interesting that they've done. If you're studying about the vice presidential election or maybe the president, right, just research about ki okay, instead of just ratifying all the articles ki okay is article mein president ka election hai ye hua hai, just research some interesting facts about uh, the first president or the second president or what they used to do and things like that. I mean, like there was this one guy who was the vice president, the president, and the Supreme Court justice, right? Muhammad Hidayatullah, right? So just think about research about such things, know about such things, and it really helps. And I would say ki more than anything, it really helps you to become a more aware individual. And even after, if you just give that kind of effort to do GK and you end up in any good NLU, you would do really great going by the standards of, the legal education and everything.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I don't, I think I use my GK preparation here also because I think I have some background knowledge of multiple things happening in the world, right? So that really does help. You guys want to add anything, Ashmit, Arshiya?
No,
Arshiya?
I think you summed it up pretty well, but I'd just say ki, I mean, do the bare minimum. You need to know where the headquarters are, but go beyond that, just be inquisitive in general. And I think, because I think I've mentioned this before as well, but I used to watch a lot of financial documentaries, and two questions straight away came from that, like the Theranos one and the Satyam Computers one. I don't know what happened. That was my fraud phase. I used to go on YouTube and I used to search a lot about the different frauds happening. And yeah, so these were questions that came up, and just be inquisitive in general. I think awareness is something that CLAT is changing, and I think you need to change your prep towards it too, because now it just wants you to be more aware of things in general. So I think be more inclined towards that.
Right. I think we have almost talked about everything. My last question before we call it a day, is that what was your mindset before you entered that examination center, which is SD College in Chandigarh? Uh, before, like 1 hour, 2 hours before, like you entered at 1 o'clock, but what was your day like? What was your mindset? Just give some light over that, because I think we get two people, we get two kind of people, and I think like before your the I think on 17th evening also I told you the same thing, that please go and sleep. And there is this other type of crowd who would say, I went to sleep at 5 o'clock in the morning. I am high on 2 Red Bulls. I will just write this paper. What would your suggestion to this crowd be like?
Ashmit, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I would just like to say that just don't be the latter half. It is absolutely going to be a blunder if you are like sleeping at 5 and then revising. Personally, I stopped my preparation and like learning all the GK at 6 p.m. the day before. And after that, I was like just relaxing. I watched like a movie or something. And even when at night Aditya called, we had a call with him. So he also said that you need to be relaxed while you're approaching the paper. So also on the main day when we went to the center, I purposely went a bit late because I didn't want to be like intimidated by the people who are like वहाँ पे बैठ के मंथन scroll कर रहे हैं and all of that. So I purposely went late and I was like, yeah, these people are doing good, but it's okay. I've done my part of preparation. I need to be confident about it, and that's all the mindset you need to be have. You just need to remember that there is nothing such as like enough preparation. Whatever you have done, that is enough for you, and you're going to ace it with that only.
Yeah, because I remember during my days, I got like these people who are like literally selling manthans 1 hour before the paper. I'm like, I can't read it right now. Uh, Gurnoor, like, how do you respond to things like that? That people are coming to you and telling you random facts, and you are like, okay, but I still don't want to know.
I would say just don't talk to people. I didn't even talk to these guys, and they are like my best friends, right? So I remember seeing Arshiya and Chahat. Chahat was also coming to NLS, right? Both of them right before my exam, right? But I didn't talk to them. I just did a simple gesture, ki, okay, good luck, and then we went on to go into our exam rooms. Even Haripriya, who's also a very good friend of mine, she was there sitting right in front of me in my exam room, but I didn't let it bother me. And I knew for a matter of fact that these are the people who are going to analyze, who are going to NLU Delhi, right? So they are the most intimidating kind, right? However, another thing which I would really say, like to say is ki, okay, even though my mental state was good before writing AILET especially, but I was really taken aback by the fact that the pattern has changed. And it took me a good 20-30 minutes to just sink in the fact that, हाँ, ये change हो चुका है. And that was the time I remembered कि, okay, Aditya had told me कि just stick to one section and do it completely. So then I did RC अच्छे से. But again, so I was really worried and depressed after मेरा AILET का paper. So I went home and I slept, and उसके बाद I just took my diary and I jotted down the points कि okay, these are the things which went bad. And right before my CLAT exam, I read that those 4 or 5 points, and that really helped me. Just vent out things and just go back to them again, so you will realize ki, okay, these are things which I need to avoid. And during CLAT, my mental state was really, I mean, I would say much better than AILET, because I knew for a matter of fact ki, okay, let them throw anything at me. I've done enough. I will do great, right? Again, it is a relative exam. If it is difficult for me, it is difficult for everyone else out there, right? So the moment you understand this, so everything just goes right.
Perfect. Arshia.
Yeah, adding on to what Gurnoor said, I remember him not even responding to the examiner. Like the examiner is like, which room do you want to go to? And he was like, this number. So yeah, he was that much focused about it. And I think for me in general, I'm a very lively person and I like to talk to people. So one day before Relit and Tad, I think I sent all of you good luck messages and they responded sending some good luck messages to me back. And it was just a very sweet thing. I had the support of my parents and I was just very calm and content and satisfied going into that exam room. I was like, I've done enough, and whatever happens, happens, but I know that I'm going to give my best. So that was my outlook towards the entire paper, and I think it paid off. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
guys.
so
So last
overall,
question. आदित्य बस कर अब पढ़ाई होगी बात अब. Yeah. So guys, what next? What are your plans for next 6 months? Any bucket list do you guys have? Or you want to join NLT as a mentor and make good money?
Yeah, all right. So I had a bucket list. I had thought of all the things I'd do, but I've not even started any of them. And now pre-boards are coming, and I am just so confused as to how to go about things. But I think I'll
two, you're
slowly
not
figure.
supposed to. You're not supposed to study for those pre-boards now. If you do that,
I
तो क्या
was
ही किया
not
है?
going to study for the pre-boards, but now COVID is in the air, and if boards get cancelled and I don't perform well on the pre-boards, then अच्छी खासी seat चली जाएगी. So I need to do at least the bare minimum. But yeah,
Right. Ashmit, do
Right.
you
overall,
have, or you want to, what do you want to do for the next 6 months? Don't say you want to focus on your boards.
You would really be looked down upon by at least us.
No, I like to be honest, my bucket list comprised of like finishing all the series that I've like left over during this preparation. And to be very honest, I'm quite on a good track in doing that. I'm like watching, completing 1, 2 series in a day or something. I've been like, sleeping at 4, waking up at 12. So it's completely like I'm relaxing at this period of time, like just trying to sink in that everything that happens.
eat, sleep, repeat. Yeah.
I mean, I'll be 18 in April, right? Just when our boards end. So I would love to learn to drive. That is one thing I want to do.
Right.
Right. So I think Anish, they have their plans set for next 6 months. We would at
Yeah.
least want Arshia to make like good questions from the documentaries she has watched, and
Yeah.
Uh, and I think Ashmit is coming to NLS for sure. So and Ashmit Kadar's definite, and Gurnoor is still in that dilemma, and Arshiya is going to NLU Delhi. So I think it's an amazing. Let's see like whether Ashmit pulls Gurnoor or whether Arshiya does. But I
Yeah.
guess have a great time, guys.
Amazing, guys. All the best wherever you go, NLS, LUD, or Gurnoor, whatever you decide, all the best for that. You can always reach out to me and Aditya if you need any guidance or something, any support. We are there for Ashmit for sure. He'll be here only in the next 6 months. So NLT at rate awaits you, Ashmit. Uh, yeah, we wanna meet you guys in February. We'll be in Chandigarh only. Aditya, are you interning somewhere this time? In
Bro,
Delhi or somewhere?
I have my mandatory internship. I still don't know about it yet. Where is it? I don't know.
Yeah. Right. So I'll be in Chandigarh. I'll try to meet. I want to meet all of you. So yeah, we'll be meet connecting in Chandigarh. So amazing, guys. It was a pleasure meeting you here and talking to you. I look forward to seeing you very soon. Bye bye. Aditya, you wanna say something?
No, no, I've already talked to them enough.
Cool, cool. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining and taking out your time. Bye bye.
Thanks a lot.
Bye bye. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.